You can also check your PPT if you have.
Share, na?
Hmm.
Sit share?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay, okay, okay.
You can also check your PPT if you have.
Share, na?
Hmm. Okay, we have two students, Santhya and Anshika. So let's start now.
Yes. So very good morning, dear learners of the IGNO. And today we are going to deal on the block 2, that is the main aspect of influence of diaspora networks, policy making, and citizenship practices. So we are in the uh, second session on this paper, block 2. I hope my PPT is shared. And so when we see the perspective of the community, so this diaspora networks, we are dealing on unit 13. When we deal with that, we have the learning objectives and of the phenomena of understanding the phenomena of diaspora networks and its significance, and the nature and characteristics of diaspora networks, and implication of diaspora network. That is our learning objectives of this paper. And at the end of the course, also we learn how this diaspora community has uh, the main features of and characteristics of diaspora networks and everything. So when we start with course, we should understand the diaspora networks. What is diaspora networks? In the previous class we have discussed. This, the definition of diaspora network is immigrant communities maintaining connections with their homelands. So that is the main aspect of when we say about networks. It is not networks within their countries, rather it is the networks within their homelands. That means how they are, we know that is homeland and hosting land where the immigrants are there. Especially if I am in Australia, that is my hosting land. My homeland is India. So how far I am communicating and maintaining my connection with my homeland. That is the simple understanding that we should have as learners about what is called diaspora networks. And the broader usage, when you use this concepts the broader, it is still used for Jews, now refers to all the displaced communities. We understand in the initial period how the Jews were displaced in some other countries and how they get connected because of their small network and in their house hosting land, how they were able to get connected and build their networks in their homeland and build their uh, relationship as well as the business in their homeland always as well as. So when we deal about the diasporas tend to maintain links to or bonds among themselves given their common origin. First, we should understand that how they uh, form their ethnicity based on their ethnicity and status in their hosting land, and based on that how they build their relationship in the homeland. And this also, they also maintain real and imagined links with their country of origin. So the how they pay loyalty to their diasporas has led to the various kinds of diaspora networks within their members living in their host and homelands. And with the help of diaspora networks, sustained connection or ties with the homelands as well as with cohorts living across the world are maintained. So that is the main thing. And what is the uh, main outcome of that? What happens if they have a good diaspora network that we are going to deal today? and the degrees of diaspora networks can be determined through the status of its socioeconomic position in host lands and how they are. It is based on how far they are able to maintain their socioeconomic status. Based on that, their for example, a person is skilled labor in US or in Australia or in UK maintain a certain type of diaspora networks within their homeland and the hosting land, whereas unskilled laborers will have maintain and all those things in terms of diaspora community. This is based on their types of labor, based on their countries, the status that they are giving politically and socially. For example, if you take Malaysia, their socio-economic status of the diaspora community is low when compared to Singapore. When you go to Singapore, a person from the other nation's origin can become in to involve in their political affinity as well as stand for their councillor post or something, whatever the political uh, position is there, they contest in the election and everything. They become the citizens of the country, whereas the political plays a certain role and gives their socioeconomic status. So we should, based on that, the diaspora networks, diaspora networks can be established, and moreover, the diaspora networks may be formal or informal. It is not always to be formal. So diaspora networks are related to socio-economic, cultural, ethnic, and political activities with homelands and co-ethnics living across the world. So it can be broadly be classified into socio-economic networks. So social networks of diasporas include immigrant, ethnic, religious, you say family, kinship, and gender. So these are the social perspective or social perspective of how the diaspora community is formed. And based on the same kind of Gujaratis can form a diaspora community, the particular religious people. So that can be possible. When you take economic networks, uh, that also economic also play a role. For example, when you talk about the economic thing, their diaspora community can be based on the entrepreneurial or managerial diaspora network or industrial people or technological network. So based on that, their economic condition or the economic activity they involve, based on that, their diaspora networks can be established. So you see that the where kind of based on their socio economical status, the diaspora communities can be formed. Okay, and in a decade of advancement of transport and information and communication technology, which we say that ICT, coupled with advancement of advent of globalization, has strengthened the diaspora networks. We cannot deny it. As we discussed in earlier classes on these two perspectives of how it has impact on the diaspora networks. We know very well that globalization and the technological upliftment has uh, mainly contributed in terms of positive contribution towards establishing the diaspora networks. So the phenomena of transnationalism is an outcome of diaspora networks spanning across beyond homelands. So diaspora networks promote various kinds of cross between home and host countries and beyond. So it is a tap tool to channelize the resources, facilitate trade, investment, and links between their home and host countries. We know people invest a lot in establishing the business in their home countries because they flourish with money. They after one the satisfactory level that normally the person goes gone for the a job for abroad to uplift the family. Once it is being done, they start thinking on involving in business. So they start uh, uh, investing on business or entrepreneurial activity. So the member of diaspora networks often have comparative advantages in providing goods and services given their linkages. So they start with linking people and so on. So uh, when you see the characteristics and excuse me, when you talk about the communication and technology perspective of diaspora community, so the international migration has been on the rise since the last few decades. So the World Migration Report, and you say that in 2020, state that the number of international migrants globally in 2019 was 207 million. About 2019, the international migrants globally, and about 3.5 percentage of the world's population. So almost 3.5 percentage of the world population are migrant globally. And the United States remain the favorite destination country for international migrants, having 50.7 million international migrants. So the relevance of networks among the immigrants facilitates adoption as well as this to settle at ease in the destination countries. So when we see that when people migrate, they first see, even if we migrate, we see the how far I am being adopted by that country. Okay, how easy it is in terms of visa, in terms of settlement and everything. Over a period of time, they become settled migrant immigrant community in our diaspora community. When this prevalence is very soothing in the hosting countries, especially like countries like US, countries like Australia, where you have the settlement is very uh, uh, very easy or very comfortable. Whereas in countries like Saudi or something, it is very difficult, and getting the citizenship, it is very difficult there. Even you cannot. And given their diasporic consciousness, they sustain or maintain various kinds of laws between the host and home countries, and also with the co-ethnics living across the world with the assistance of diaspora networks. So when you say networks have become such much wider, denser, and stronger in the light of advancement of transport and information, that we cannot deny. Because ICT has played a role. Now, for example, take a kind of WhatsApp. How far it has impact. We are using, we are connecting, we are having a video call, and my friend is working in Saudi or some other country in Arab countries where you cannot call him through WhatsApp video call. It is banned there. Okay, so in this type of ban or this type of restriction will cut short the diaspora networks. Okay, and whereas in countries like US or some other, it is not a matter. So, for instance, the advancement of ICT tools like email, for example, how far it has impact. You just send a mail, it is reached within a minute, and people are able to read. Okay. So that is a thing where this ICT has connected. Okay, and discussion groups. So you see that nowadays for any kind of post or any kind of interview, anything is happening through the order copies, everything sent through email and discussion groups. Blogs and social networking platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So these are where the the diaspora network has been further intensified with this type of ICT tools. Further on, we have a lot of tools to do it. To cite an example, this overseas Chinese networks, OCN, they have included section of for blogs, discussion forums, listing of events and job opportunities, where they can just the diaspora network has formed own website to see how jobs and everything is there to get connected with their homeland and across the globe. And next one is you see the characteristics of that development. You see the skilled knowledge and intellectual, academic, scientific diaspora network. And you see the growing international migration in another perspective of high skilled human capital from the north in search of better opportunities of life changes has led to a depletion of human resources in the poor and developing countries. So the social phenomena is commonly known as brain drain by migration. Networks, I can say, they have used the phenomenon of brain drain by the sharing and circulating gained knowledge and experience information to the members of the networks in home countries with the assistance of ICT. And in terms of brain drain as into brain gain and brain circulation to brain bank. Okay. Now, when we were there in the position of brain drain, now we move to brain gain. We are able to, and we are become the brain bank, and because of this skilled knowledge and intellectual people moving across the globe. So ethnic professional networks is in facilitating knowledge and transfer of brain circulation. And there are a lot of studies as well as when you say that uh, people are moving not with only unskilled, which was in the past. Now people are moving with the knowledge and skill and the intellectual and academic diaspora. Okay, which certain things we should look into the positive note because people are going and contributing, and this through that they earn a lot of money, and that even being coming into a home country as a remittance. So expatriate knowledge networks have been established around the world for mobilizing highly skilled expatriate. So so these people are forming the network, and they again take the people of high skilled people. So contribute their skills and their expertise to the development of their country of origin. So we take a simple example. When people move to countries abroad, they normally what they will do in the basic understanding, they try to take their close relatives. They ask the people to study these courses. They ask the people to equip yourself language, and this all will happen at the same time. Indirectly they are making the people to get more skilled. Directly they are making the people to get more skilled, and uh, and through that they're developing their home countries skill globally, and people are able to take a better course and able to study abroad and get their skills equipped. So these networks were classified into five categories. Expert knowledge networks mean that skilled academic and scientific people's networks. That is his first one, which we have discussed now. Student scholarly network. So they connect with student or scholarly network and local association of skill expertise, expert pool assistance through transfer of knowledge through expatriate nationals of the program, developing intellectual and scientific diaspora network, and intellectual scientific diaspora network. So these networks are all, specifically aimed at facilitating the transfer of knowledge. And when you say these types of networks like Association of Thought Professionals in America and Canada, the Philippines Brain Gain Network, we have lot of that another South African network of classic case of knowledge of diaspora networks. So these networks, established networks, are having a lot of importance in developing the skills in the host countries. Okay, that's very, very important. And barring a few networks, most of them are non-profit and independent entities which are not affiliated to any political party or national government. So members for most of the networks is open to researchers, scientists, and students alike. So members are highly skilled and well qualified. Their members are very selected. Uh, Mr. Satya, sir, do you want to ask any question?
Sir, are you still talking about the characteristics of diaspora networks, or have you moved on from this topic? Because slide is still on
Oh,
characteristics.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm here. Okay, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you all getting the PPT which I have prepared?
Yes,
After
sir.
the class?
Yes, sir. It is very nice PPT.
Okay. I'll also speak to Sanda, sir. If it is possible, I'll share it. Are you all getting it?
Yes, sir. Please share it with us.
Yeah. Sure. Share my number. If it is possible, you can connect to me WhatsApp. Then I will share it. Not an issue.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Dr. Rex, you can share
Yes.
in the counseling that group.
Okay. Then it's better. Yes, sir. Then I'll share it. Not an issue. Okay. Don't worry about the PPT. That even I will having the notes as well as, but we'll see to it. Okay. So we have seen the impact of globalization and economic contribution, and we will move on to one. Okay. So the main concept is that we have a lot of kind of what we say established association like South African Network, Skills Abroad, and Philippines Brain Gain Network, and all those things. What these associations really do? These associations are very, very important because they are able to pull the people and train the people, and these members in the association are highly skilled. So this membership is for most of the networks is open to researchers, scientists, and students alike. So members are highly skilled and well qualified. And for example, almost 60% of the network members of Philippines Brain Grain Network hold advanced degrees. That means masters and doctorate. So this, what they will, if the people are formed such a way, it automatically they involve in kind of research, they involve in kind of business or whatever, invest and developing the so these networks are highly dispersed. For instance, if we take these Philippines brain gain networks, they are across all the countries. For example, they are from 23 countries are the members of that particular group. For example, the main are from United States, United Kingdom, and Spain. And what they will do, as I have said, members involved in this, they include events include conferences, seminars, focus group discussion, and they have events like Christmas parties, dinners, picnics, and everything. So what they will organize a program, so they come together. So this type of during that brainstorming and what can be done, and connects get developed. Okay. So nowadays you see that online kind of seminar conferences. So people also conduct the offsite conferences. what is the difference between what? So I can present a paper through online, but why I have to go offline and spend money to travel to go to some other state or district to present my paper to develop my connect, which I cannot do it through online. So probably it can be done, but not that level. So I'll go and get connected. So offline helps us to get connected. So people like this in the diaspora of community, they conduct a conferences, seminars, and workshops to develop the connect. So all the networks, this type of things, uh, uh, develops the connect between the people. And we also understand the role of diaspora networks in entrepreneurship and international business trade. When you say that diaspora networks facilitate international business and trade, you see that direct diaspora investment in India and foreign direct investment are because of this. Okay, so FDI is a presence of network members who would be facilitators or channels for the flow of information and market intelligence and capital skills. And we have China is forwarding on it, and so the study says that Chinese science-based industrial park have been formed, and it is led by this Chinese-based industrial park, led by companies. 40 percentage of the share is being returned immigrants of in China, right? So it helps in this diaspora helps in the developing the entrepreneurial activity. So let us see the diaspora networks and the Indian diaspora. So when you see the profile of the Indian diaspora, so Indian diaspora has assumed a great significance among the global diasporas in three categories. First is the volume. How many people are migrated? Okay, that is we are highly significant because of volume. And second one is what spread. We are vast spread across the globe, and how far we are impacting on the economy and social of not only the homeland that also but also in hostland. So in these three category, Indian diaspora we should look into. First one, as I have said, volume. Second is a vast spread, how many countries we are in, and how far our diaspora community has impact on the hostland. So it is more than 20 million strong, spread across 70 countries across the globe. 20 million strong, spread across the 70 countries. They are more than 40 percentage of the population. Even in the previous class we have discussed, 40 percentage of total population in Fiji, countries like uh, Mauritius, uh, or there, and we are in minority communities like significant minority communities in Australia, Canada, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, the United Kingdom, the United States. Okay, we are having a significant minority. So given the volume and economic clout of the Indian diasporas in recent times, it is acted at mediators. We are able to facilitate the international trade, investment, right? So the Indian entrepreneurs or the management consultants have a high profile in the global economic order. So the Indian diaspora has maintained its cultural economic ties with India through informal and formal networks at uh, uh, different, areas. So Just a minute. So another thing we should look the skilled Indian diaspora networks and its implication for India. So skilled, when we speak about the skilled Indian diaspora networks, we should first start from the boom of the IT and outsourcing industry in India as a result of this increased skilled Indian diaspora. So we build a trust, reputation, and social capital of the Indian community settled in the United States, United Kingdom, and Canada through the IT outsourcing. And given their diaspora networks back home, the mid 1990s, several Indian professionals of Indian origin started their own companies in India. You know Cognizant? It is there in my place where I am in Coimbatore. Emphasis Technologies or the few examples. So Indian software professionals were reputation enhancers. This stated by Kapoor in 2010. So the US has played a role of reputational intermediates to boost the confidence of the multinational companies for getting in their investment of India. Because since we proved that US government, US professionals that we have done a lot of creditable work in the technology, there other countries were able to believe, able to start, they are able to give consent to our countries. Then we are able to outsource to some other countries too. So, so the skilled Indian diaspora had also contributed to skill and technology transfer in IT sector. In recent survey, 225 IT firms in India confirms that, on the whole, migration of Indian IT professional has created possibilities for brain gain from investment. Indian IT professionals provide a venture capital for startup companies in India. They have played a crucial role in shaping and the regulatory structure of India's private equity. And further, diaspora networks of Indian diaspora have accelerated the development of Indian business processing. We are witnessing it. I mean, not to even you people, if you see in the IT field, many Indians are being outsourced. That means they sit here, they work for US, they work for Australia, they work for countries like Saudi Arabia or somewhere. They sit here and do that outsourcing. So means that they are able to that kind of organization, that type of association, are able to pull the people, and they start establishing the organization in India and take the outsourcing of our country. So, Indian Diaspora Network organization and its impact on India. What is that impact? When you say as a whole, what has it has done? And as like some other countries, India also has an association. Take this association of AAPI, American Association of Indian Origin. That means the healthcare sector, the doctors have formed an association. This is the largest Indian ethnic medical organization in the United States. Imagine this organization has 100 another professional associations. So the American Association of Physicians from India and the Association of Indian Neurologists, the Association of Asian Indians on ophthalmology in the United States have contributed to the transfer of skills and technology to medical research and training collaboration back in India. Imagine how how far this contribution probably. So our Indian doctors are working with the US people and contributing in research and establishing the evidences. So this AVI and its foundation in India have been working with India's health authorities to improve the regulation of medical education in India. So they are also supporting our health authorities to the ministry to regulate the medical education in India. So there is a vast pool of Indian origin scientists and technologists who have been networking in the well-known research establishment in the global north. So this is because of the strong diaspora community. Okay. So people are able to form an association and bring and impact the uh, government, start working with the ministries here. Okay. Okay. So we see that there is a vast pool of there is another association called the Scientists and Technologists for Indian Origin. When you say that this forum of Indian scientists and technology which has contributed for the development of higher education research and training in India, and this organization STIO community has helped Indian scientists to take part in the joint research project. And you find lot of in LinkedIn, if you are active in LinkedIn, you find lot of joint ventures like this, how people are get connected. Okay, the government is get connected, the private organizations get connected, educational institutions get connected with its diaspora community, STIO and everything, to run a joint venture research, and they have facilitated establishment of the following higher educational research establishment, namely the Center for Theoretical Physics at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, and they have the Advanced Network Laboratory and Research Center in Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and there have been many instances of inviting distinguished STOs of India for research capacity building. So altogether, we can say that how it is association of a diaspora community is getting connected with the education sector, getting connected with the research, getting connected with the ministry, and even though regulating the system if it is required in India, as we have discussed earlier about how they have discussed the kind of medical education. Okay, so so and apart from that, we see that this organization individually also get connected, take the membership from the host country. Okay, and this is not this organization, if it is found, it is not only people in US or something, the people across the diaspora communities are being taken into uh, consideration. And there is another uh, kind of non-profit associations which works for the welfare of the people. You find that for such an example as an Indus Entrepreneurs and the Silicon Indian Professional Association were set up to connect up or tap for a promotion of business trade. And we have the for example, the Indian Doctors, Engineers, Architects and Accountant Society based in Saudi Arabia, because there Indian doctors, engineers and accountants are heavily highly taken in Arab countries, or the world largest network of Indian professional abroad, right? So, and it has been engaging world the various socio-economic cultural activities through their established networks back in India, right? So as stated by the World Migration Report, uh, India received about US dollar 78 almost 80 billion dollars, followed by China and Mexico next. So India is the first in receiving the dollars as a remittance. $8.6 billion we are taking in 2020 as per the statistics world migration report. So apart from growing economic remittance of Indian diaspora, in the Indian diaspora, one side we see the how the economy, another side we have to see this remittance, or in simple term, the money flow to Indian countries accelerated trade business flows in several sectors. First, we see these textiles, food products, entertainment goods like films, music, video, apps, and everything, and jewels, leather products, and everything. We are able to, uh, what to say, able to export it. So, the Indian diaspora has been taking part in philanthropic activities, and at the individual level or at the collective level through its networks. Imagine people at a philanthropic attitudes. We ask, yeah, my friend is there. We'll ask for the one person is going for a kind of operation. It is huge, all right, huge money. So people will fund. Uh, Kindly give certain amount. If you request, they will give. For it's an individual level. It is happening. A lot of foreign people are contributing. I know when my friend was hospitalized, we just posted in the social media. We don't know who is that, but from Australia, a person donated around 20,000. Just for we don't know who is that, and this is the philanthropic attitude. This takes place. Apart from that, people donate for education, building the colleges or whatsoever, and at a huge level. So a diaspora organization like Indo-American Charity Fund, we have a India Disaster Relief Fund, which we have people. You know that when disaster happens, there are a lot of diaspora networks or organization support, and Indian Doctors Club Charity Fund have played a very more important role, and India Service Corps, formed by people of Indian origin, supports projects and infrastructure. So the American Association of Physicians of Indian origin. So these are donated this equipment and engaged in AIDS prevention, medical and education. And we have India-based NGO called Charitable Foundation of AAPA. So AAPA has a charitable foundation. So it is not only the business. We should not look into that angle alone. People also have a charitable purpose. NGOs like also people contribute. So apart from these positive initiatives, the section of Indian diaspora is also involved in uh, the negative aspect of kind of separation, political conflicts, fundamentalism through their established networks in India. You know that recently we have in Canada that Khalistan movement of certain group. There are certain fundamentalists were triggered by the respective Indian diaspora groups by funding and transfer of radical ideas. So this will happen sometimes. So which is the negative aspect of countries. For instance, people, certain councils in the UK has a strong ties with the India-based organizations where they will fund and trigger conflict or separation in host countries or in the home countries. So this will the negative aspect of the investment of the diaspora community, and this we should by understanding till now we should understand the uh, we should progress as a learners progress how these ties and links connection extending within members of a diaspora community, and DNA Diaspora Network Alliance framework has identified six channels of diaspora engagement with homelands, namely diaspora philanthropy, diaspora volunteerism, diaspora entrepreneurship, capital markets, tourism and nostalgic trade, and diaspora advocacy and diaspora diplomacy. So these are the six verticals when diaspora networks invest or put money into it. Okay, so this is the learning part till now, and we also have the diaspora influence on policy making. Very important aspect. Diaspora influence on policy making. So when you say the diaspora influence on policy making, we understand they appreciate the soft power of the Indian diaspora, discuss the policies for engagement with the diaspora, elaborate upon the impact of Indian diaspora on a foreign policy. So these are the learning objective when we understand the uh, diaspora and their uh, involvement in policy. Just a minute. Okay. So when we look into the diaspora and how they influence on the on policy making, do they have the capacity or influence on policy making? So how far Indian policy of diaspora engagement, defining diaspora policy and engagement, it's very important, and challenges of diaspora engagement. These are the things we need to discuss. uh, what is soft power? When you say soft power, diaspora's soft power, there is a main areas of your learning part when on your course. So soft power has an influencer influencer role on the decision made by the individuals, business and governments. So how far as an individual, as an influencer, I can play a role or influence on the decision made by individual, business and governments. That's called a soft power. And the author Joseph says that the soft power is a means to succeed in international politics, and this will be done for those who understood how to leverage it. You know that Helen Musk has influence on who should be the next president of US. Some industrial people uh, decide what has to, who should be the prime minister, who should be my member of the parliament, and all those things. So this is called a soft power. So soft power is a capacity to attract and cooperate rather than forays with the other international politics. It is not only to put a kind of conflict, it is to capacity to attract. So in other words, software is a process of influencing others' preferences through appeal and attraction. In simple word. So it is not fighting something, but how to put forth in a very, very influential manner. It is not fighting or something like that. So power is the ability to influence others to achieve one's desired outcomes, which can be accomplished through payment, attraction, or persuasion. So there are several soft power tools such as culture. So what is a soft power tool in India? It is culture, sometimes caste, sometimes education, and sometimes the power. Okay. So the diaspora is an investment in which is economical, cultural, and political, and emotional and social. So its importance is expressed in three areas. What they do, they will do a political lobby, economic growth, and transfer of information. So the investor lobby, political lobbying will happen. Who should be, who has to stand in that area, and everything. And economic growth. Okay. And transfer of information, what information I have to give, right? So the cultural relations between two countries help to open up many contact networks between them. So today, countries like India cannot afford to ignore in the form of transfers and foreign direct investment. India cannot say, I don't want foreign direct investment, I don't want foreign money. So the interest of its diaspora, which contributes massively to its economy. So diaspora soft power credentials are evident in world today. So numerous countries such as China and India are seeking attract their citizens from abroad to contribute to the economy of their country of origin. So it is evident that soft power may be necessary condition for achieving goals, but it is not sufficient condition. So this is because foreign policy outcomes are not unilateral decisions. So the success depends on the other nation. So my success also depends on the success of US, the success of Australia. If anything collapses, for example, Russia and Ukraine war, it hits the economy of the country, but we were able to stable it, right? So any country's decline, it also affects us. So their interests play a crucial role. So I, by India should be very uh, positive and should think also that US should not decline, or the countries where Indian populations are high should their economy should be stable, so that the foreign direct investment is high. So the four goals are opposed to their national or line, even if they like our culture and civilization. That is where the use of some aspects of hard power come into play. Okay, so now you see that US has put a lot of tax on the Indian product. Okay, some took the presidency. You see the last week or that it's going to hit the economy of our country. I don't know how India is going to play a role in it to reply to that, and what their foreign policy is going to have all about. But the president of the US is putting a tax on Indian products heavy. Okay, there are other instruments as has a potential of to influence foreign policy in a country without intermediation or the use of force, and it is inherent in politics. So the Southeast Asia, both ethnic Indians and Chinese, have for a long time been an essential part of their communities and have effectively served as a bridge between two areas. The use of the diaspora as an Indian foreign policy tool, however, it is a comparatively modern phenomenon. It is modern for us. So India has to develop a lot of policies. So general expectation of any country from diasporas are the overseas diaspora network, its position or reputation agents for economic agents back home. So they need the reputation. So Indian diaspora therefore has no use for lobbying on behalf of the home government. Furthermore, the region varies significantly in terms of politics. So very few countries are real democracies that are again an obstacle to lobbying. So very few prominent Indians can affect public opinion in several ways, such as Indian media ownership. So Indian diaspora is advantageous to India's soft power in the USA, as it has a capacity to attractive ideas through its wealth and education. You see that a lot of people are in the government sector in US as like advisors, ministers, or something Indian origin and everything. So another justification is that they are predominantly professional migrants. That is very important. They are all predominantly professional migrants. That means IT sector, doctors, educators, researchers, highly professional, and their educational levels as well as income is very high. So, in the psyche of Indian immigrants, the aspiration of education has always been healthy. So, it is only education that has brought Indian diaspora to such level. So, knowledge is India is known as a knowledge superpower. So, we should not forget it. So, we are able to influence. Our Indian diaspora is involving in soft power in countries like US. So it is a high time to now that India defines the marketplace. Business are unable to accomplish their goals, and make profit in the long run without purposeful plan. For India, for example, dear learners, India to make progress on its soft power agenda, its goals need to be more clearly defined. On that basis, priority should be given to the regions that is most needs to a target and soft power sources. So we should define how far we can influence. The two main government goals are to become a destination of foreign investment and to create positive environment for Indian companies abroad. So India and the host and home country, US or Saudi Arabia or anything, the two main the government, for example, Saudi Arabia and India, the government goal are to become a destination of foreign investment. So I must invest in Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia invest in me. So what I'm going to invest there or what they are going to, which industry they are going to invest and create a positive environment. In the soft power, it's not something negative. It should build a positive environment so that the economy and philanthropy attitudes are growing in both the nations, host and home countries. So investment in maintaining links with the diaspora and increasing reach India's cultural uh, activities are two strategies that can help to achieve this. So government has to invest on maintaining links, and similarly, India wants a more decisive role on the world stage. Means that it needs to better express its capacity to lead an international political and moral space. So Indians form a largest diaspora in the world and have enormous strength to draw upon and its young domestic population. Fluency in English, it is culture as one of the oldest and remarkably diverse civilizations. So it is cultural exports such as Bollywood, yoga, and our rich cuisine, food culture. These all plays a vital role. And how far there's going to be a cultural shift? How far going to be a kind of philanthropic attitude between countries? So fact cannot be denied that soft power uh, smooths out other instruments of in diplomacy. So if a country is appreciative of our values and culture, it may be predisposed towards avoiding an adversarial position. Hence, during decision-making occasions, it will be tend towards favorable one, provided it not against national interest. So it is not against national interest, not go against the national interest. Soft power, once again, I would like to say that it is not against the country. Making something like businessman involving in people of their own interests or something like that. But smoothening the government interaction, the soft power. So, for example, I'll give an example of this. It's just in a minimum level. Our Indian doctors want to do a kind of 1 month course or 2 months course in US. So there is a kind of association. We have seen this physician association in US. So they go on ministers there in US of Minister of Medicine or whatsoever they have, and they kind of negotiate, use their soft power to conduct some course for 2 months for Indian doctors. So this is called a soft power. So they are trying to influence the government. They are because they have a strong association. They have strong good number of people there. Whereas some other countries where they don't have, and we have a lot of intellectual people there. Okay. So as we have discussed, the soft power can take place when the intellectual capacity of the diaspora community is high or the professionals. Here, the important is the soft power is to bring the uh, development in both countries, home and home countries. That is very, very important. It's not only coming the government, what government need to be formed and everything. It is also beyond that. It's in small, small things to the next thing. So soft power deals with uh, improving the country's economic, social, and cultural connect between the both the countries. For the Indian, for example, advantages of Indian software industry has capacity of attractive ideas through its wealth and education. Okay. Another justification is that they are predominantly professional. We have already discussed it. Predominantly uh, professional, and because of that professional, their education levels are high and the income is very high. Due to that, they are able to influence uh, the US government through soft power. So we have also seen the global diaspora with the Indian perspective. We uh, uh, Indian diaspora policies, we have a flexible visa and residency laws, OCI card, voting rights for NRIs. These are India brought. Okay, when we talk about the comparative perspective of citizenship and practices, and we have key features of Indian diaspora policies. We have and flexible visas and residency laws and voting rights for NRIs and special incentives for investment and property ownership. And we have historical evolution. We have seen the colonial period and post-colonial and everything. So it's very uh, important aspect that we have discussed today, and I hope we have learned a little bit of things, when we discuss about the diaspora investment and how uh, uh, soft power in diaspora and everything. We will stop it here, and any doubt, I will share the PPT with through sir, Sandra sir. You will get all the PPT of mine. I'll put it in a very brief so that when you are going for exams and it will be helpful, I hope. Uh, any doubt? Any doubt? Sir, I'll stop it here. Sandra sir, I will stop it here. Okay, thank you.
Firoz, Firoz,